Today on ATV News, newly released search warrants reveal more information in the disappearance of Susan Powell.
Utah State's biggest fan gets roasted by some of his closest friends.
And we'll show you some furry little animals in need of a good home.
Bobby Wagner was back in town last Friday with 24 pro scouts and me watching him. I'll let you know how he did.
It's hard to believe weather like this could turn sour. I'll let you know if there's snow in your forecast coming up on ATV News.
Welcome to ATV News. I'm Britta Anderson.
And I'm Jessica Black. Documents have been released giving new light on the Susan Powell case.
A judge unsealed search warrants which give information against Josh Powell, Susan's husband, who only a couple of months ago killed himself and the couple's 2 sons in a home explosion.
In the search warrant, police say that when Susan first disappeared, Josh received a phone call from a worried neighbor. Josh said he was out with his sons and didn't know why his wife hadn't shown up for work. Friends and family said he usually drove her.
It was later learned that Josh permanently withdrew the children from their daycare, canceled Susan's future medical appointments, and exercised a power of attorney to withdraw Susan's entire IRA accounts.
When searching his car, police found a generator, blankets, a gas can, tarps, a shovel, and Susan's cell phone without the SIM card.
We believe that Josh intentionally removed that SIM card from the cell phone in an effort to thwart investigators.
Police say Josh had told someone how to kill a person and dispose of the body without getting caught. Friends and neighbors say Susan and Josh were having marital problems and that Susan had made comments to them about divorce. The search warrant also showed that Susan had a last will and testament in a safe deposit box. She said Josh was not to see it and that she did not trust him.
Susan wrote also in this that if she were to die, it may not be an accident, even if it appears to be one.
Documents also showed that when the Powell home was searched, blood was found.
A small amount of blood was located within the residence. This blood was tested and confirmed to be that of Susan. This case began as a missing person investigation and remains as such. Because of the previously mentioned acts, murder and kidnapping have not been excluded.
These documents now leave many asking why Josh Powell wasn't taken into custody. A lawsuit is in the works against the West Valley Police Department over how they handled the case, specifically for the lack of arresting Josh. The letter found in Susan Powell's safe deposit box is opening old wounds and bringing about questions if anyone could have done something to save Susan and her 2 boys.
We spoke with Jennifer Graves, the sister of Josh Powell, about her thoughts of everything that has been unsealed.
The letter in the safe deposit box stated that Susan didn't trust her husband and that he was threatening her if she ever left him. Susan also said if anything happened to her, to speak with her sister-in-law.
She put a lot of trust in me, and I feel bad that I couldn't fix this.
Graves says she knew from the very beginning that Josh had something to do with Susan's disappearance.
I asked him where her body was. I asked him a number of things, and he said, my lawyer has directed me not to talk.
Graves hopes police will be able to find Susan, but is doubtful Susan will be okay.
Will they find her alive? I doubt it.
And when it comes to her father, Stephen Powell, Graves says she believes that he knows information as to where Susan's body is.
I'm sure he knows. And whether he helped to plan it or was just told after the fact, I have no idea, but I'm certain that he knows now.
Graves says she hasn't made any effort to contact her dad, but she believes he is at least partially responsible for Susan's disappearance and that he should face murder charges. She also says that Josh should have been arrested, but that she doesn't blame anyone for what happened other than her brother.
Well, hundreds of people lined up outside gas stations and bars throughout Idaho last Thursday and Friday to try their luck at winning the $656 million jackpot.
Kelsey Keller stood alongside the potential lottery winners and found out that most people were from Utah.
Woohoo! Big spender! Yeah. I love it.
Last Friday, many people spent big bucks in hopes that they'd win even bigger bucks on the $500 million lottery. Customers waited anxiously to get to the front of the line in gas stations throughout southern Idaho. In Franklin, Idaho, staff at La Tienda stayed busy printing off tickets until closing time. But don't be fooled. Even though many people have to buy their lottery tickets in Idaho, most of the buyers are actually from Utah.
Utah State University.
I'm from Hiram, Utah.
I'm from Logan, Utah. From Riverdale, Utah.
La Tienda's slogan, home of the Utah Lottery, holds true, at least for last weekend. And while many Utahns stood in a long line that trailed outside and wrapped around the building, many passed the time waiting to buy their tickets by talking about how lucky they felt and what they would do with the money if they won.
I have a lot of things to do. First of all, I will help my family in Ethiopia and the poor in Ethiopia. And at the same time, I will help myself too.
Well, there's a chance if you're in it. If you don't have a ticket, there's no chance.
I'd buy a new home. I'd buy a new car. I'd buy a summer home. I'd buy a Harley for my husband. Pay off my kids' houses. And just have fun. Play. But I would still work.
Maryland, Illinois, and Kansas are the 3 states with winning tickets. But so far, no one has officially come forward to claim their prize money.
The victim of a neighborhood watch gone wrong. A Utah man has seen the victim's perspective in court. Tonight, he sits at home after experiencing the other side of the courtroom. 39-year-old David Surbeck sent this man to prison 3 years ago. Now he hides his head to avoid the camera after being accused of 3 counts of unlawful sex with a minor. The prosecutors used the witness of a woman who testified she had been raped 5 years ago by Surbeck when she was 17. But she wasn't the only one. Lacey Bazanet was also at the courthouse to testify of her own assault by Surbeck. She says she wants to make sure Surbeck is locked away.
He does not deserve to be out, because I know it's not just me that he's had victims.
Surbeck's sentencing will be May 24th. Coming up on ATV News, how safe are you at texting and driving? We'll show you some of the dangers of distracted driving.
And we'll tell you how you can get free money for school.
You think you know the real Wild Bill? Last week, Utah State's craziest fan showed a different side to people while raising money and raising awareness for a special cause.
In Boise at the bowl game, wearing a thong where the front was an elephant.
Friends of Wild Bill put him in the hot seat last Wednesday night by telling funny stories and embarrassing moments about Utah State's craziest fan.
I went to his house for about 5 minutes, and in about 6 minutes he was naked.
Over 350 people came out to support Wild Bill in this roast tonight. All the proceeds go to the Child and Family Support Center.
I hear me get made fun of, but it goes to a good cause. Preventing child abuse. I think that's a great cause, something that's near and dear to my heart.
I think Bill was a really great pick for something like this because he's had an impact with a lot of different people. He's been in the community a lot and been with students on campus, and he's just really well respected both by students and by staff.
But Bill takes his fame in stride.
To be honest, I don't know that I've made that big of an impact. Like, I've just had fun, and you know, when I realize I have made like a little bit of an impact, sometimes it kind of blows my mind that, you know, anybody even knows who I am.
I guess looking back, people were laughing and stuff. I think that it really helped that we had a great panel. We had some people who were just really funny and they knew each other and stuff. So I think the interaction between the panel and Bill was really good. So we couldn't have done it without him, of course.
No homo, he says, which I guess if you say no homo after something like that, it means no homo. Bill has one of the biggest hearts of anyone I know.
Probably the luckiest man you'll ever meet, to be honest with you.
In Logan, Utah, Courtney Robinson, ATV News.
Over $1,500 was raised at the Wild Bill Roast, and the money will soon be delivered to the Child and Family Support Center.
Distracted driving can cause all sorts of problems, and our very own Randall Henry is outside to tell us more. Hey, Randall. Randall.
Huh? What?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I was just finishing up this text. Good thing I wasn't driving. Otherwise, could have been dangerous.
Distracted driving. Some just call it multitasking, but whatever you call it, it is dangerous. Students learn just how dangerous while trying to wend their way through this obstacle course of cardboard and cones. Wearing drunk goggles on a scooter, none of them made it. And even though they all had fun, it is hoped that these students will be discouraged from making similar choices while driving real vehicles in the future.
It was really hard.
You got to do both.
I pretty much demolished the whole course.
There were other activities available for students to test their mental prowess, such as a game matching shapes and colors while texting, or walking in a straight line while wearing drunk goggles, all to prove a point that simple tasks become much harder while distracted. And it is hoped that the lessons sunk in, because while these students could repeat the test as many times as they wanted to, in real life, there are no do-overs, and distracted driving can have serious consequences, which could include fines, license suspension, injury, and even death, rating it in the top 5 of lethal driving occurrences.
Drowsy driving, aggressive speeding, weaving, tailgating, impaired driving, which is drugs and alcohol, not buckling up. So those are the 5 behaviors that are causing most of the fatalities.
This has been Randall Henry with ATV News.
And send. You know, I'm pretty good at this multitasking thing. I think I'm going to try this in a car next.
Randall, maybe you should stick to the Aggie shuttle.
Well, do you like getting free money for school? At the International Picnic, students from CHAS are putting events together to make it happen.
The opening of apples, bananas, and Nutella for crepes, rice balls, and games were all part of the International Picnic that the CHAS Club put together. Clubs that are part of the university came to introduce their club and provided a little taste for students. The main attraction was not just the food, but a scholarship.
It costs $1 to get in, and you get soup, and then you get different foods and things like that. We're also giving away free t-shirts, and we have Zeppies, and then that money is going to go towards a scholarship fund, which that the student has to just write a creative essay about why it's important to have a liberal arts degree.
For those who were not interested in the scholarship, got to talk to the club members.
We are the French Club. We did this last year. I think last year was the first year that they did the International Picnic, and we did crepes and banana Nutellas, and it was such a popular hit that they've asked us to come back.
We are Utaku. We are here to sell our rice balls.
Okay.
So our favorite are the tuna and the barbecue. We like to watch anime, and usually once a month we play video games, Xbox, PlayStation, big old event. So it's guess we are. We cosplay sometimes, we read manga. Anybody can come by and drop by if they'd like.
But who can pass up free food?
The International Picnic provides a variety of foods, just like this rice ball.
This is Romina Nadakovic, ATV News.
CHAS creates these events each semester, so if you miss the picnic, there will be other events in the future.
Coming up next, Brianna Bodley will have your weather forecast. It has been so warm this week.
No
especially
kidding.
Today.
Yeah, is it going to stay like that?
You know, it has been really nice this week, and as nice as last week was, it's not going to be the same. Why don't we take a look outside? As you can see, it is so sunny outside, so nice and warm, and students are really taking advantage of it. They're out there enjoying the sun and studying as much as they can while they can have that sunshine on them. But it's not going to last, unfortunately. I hope that all of you Aggies really like those theme parks, because this week is going to be a roller coaster of a ride. Let's start off with a few national weather maps. If we look at the water vapor sweeping through the states, we can see a few things. First is this thunderstorm hitting the Mississippi area. Thunderstorms can lead to tornadoes, so all you Mississippi natives, if you are planning on going home for Easter weekend, please watch out for the tunnel clouds. Next, if you can see this dry lick of air coming from the Pacific Southwest. As you can see, it heads through Nevada and breathes down a little bit of northern Utah's neck. This is why we have such good weather today. It's so nice and warm and dry, but it's not going to stay for long. If you take a look right up here In the Pacific Northwest, the dark blue and stark white signal to us that this storm is heavy with moisture. In fact, the projected motion will take the storm south, barely skimming past Utah. It's going to hit it just a little bit. Now, this is a map of the precipitation you can expect midnight on Thursday. If you look right here, this green that you can see is the storm reaching down and spinning just a little bit on northern Utah. 6 hours later, though, if you look again, suddenly it's gone. So we're going to have a 6-hour brief storm that's just going to be what's left of that. So now let's take a look at national temperatures. You know, they call the U.S. culture's melting pot, but really they should call us temperature's melting pot. As you can see behind me, we pretty much have the thermometer covered. Down in the south and southwest or southeast, all of this red means the temperatures will be hitting the roof, with highs in the uppers 80s and 90s. Then take the Pacific Northwest, where temperatures are predicted to be in the 30s to mid-40s. Ooh, cold. Thank heavens we live in Utah, nice, moderate Utah, where you can expect the temperatures to be in the mid-60s. So what does this mean for our 5-day forecast? Tonight we're going to have a slight chance of rain before midnight, and then as it gets a little bit colder, we're going to have a little bit of a chance of snow, like I said before, on Thursday and Friday. But the temperatures are going to rise back up, so your Easter weekend will be warm, sunny, and wonderful. That's all for ATV weather. We're coming back with ATV Sports.
Hey Aggies, Bailey McMurray here again for ATV Sports. Basketball season is over. Who thought it would have lasted that long? We had less than a 500 record for half the season, and we ended with 21 wins. The championship game was last Thursday, and I memorized every face in the crowd, and I can tell half of you didn't even show up. But those of you who did weren't short of Aggie pride. Look at these guys out there with their blue and white, ready to cheer on the guys. Payne came out of the game with back-to-back three-pointers. Look at him, just sinking it. And along with this wild card shot that luckily rocked in the basket. He ended up with 10 points and 5 assists. But the crowd was hungry for some burger, and he answered with three-pointers. Look at him, just three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. Look, right here. Just sinking it. I mean, he can't be stopped. He basically made the crowd go wild. Next was Morgan Grimm, who luckily was throwing his body around, helped by Keyshawn Reed right there, who had an excellent game. Medlin, though, man, I just love that kid. He made 6 of 8 field goal attempts, showing his skills to the crowd. He always just has killer games, especially in this season. But Keyshawn Reed pumped up the crowd with his athleticism, throwing down dunk after dunk after dunk. The game fell short, Aggies losing 70-67. It's sad to see the guys lose like that, especially for players like Morgan Grimm, Brockheath Payne, and who can forget Brady Jardine. These guys put in a lot of work for Utah State, and they deserve their props. Good luck to the guys as they graduate and move on from Utah State. Well, baseball. It's that time of the season, and it's America's favorite pastime. The Aggie baseball team went head-to-head with the Idaho Bengals in 3 games this past weekend. Meredith Kinney went to find out if the team kept their perfect record.
The Bengals hit a home run in the first inning when Nathan Mortensen stepped up to the plate and drilled a ball over the right field fence. It was the only run that Aggie pitcher Sixto Cabrera gave up all game long. After 2 innings, the Aggies had 3 runners cross the plate and led 3-1. Brad Singer got on base for the Aggies with a hit and then came around to score. Jake Bartholomew gave the Aggies their 4th run of the game when he hit into a gap. He batted 3 for 3 and played well in the field also. The Aggies' victory wasn't quite as decisive as Friday's game. They won 4-2. The Aggies were down by 5 after the 3rd inning of their 2nd game, but made a huge comeback later on. Matt Stransky knocked in a run with a hit to deep center, and the Aggies tacked on another couple runs before the inning was over. Utah State came back to win 12-8. Meredith Kinney, ATV News.
The Aggies are now 13-4 on the season and are still hanging on to a 13-game winning streak. Well, former linebacker Bobby Wagner and running backs Michael Smith brought out 22 representatives of NFL teams last Friday for Pro Day. Scouts from the Philadelphia Eagles, St. Louis Rams, and the Baltimore Ravens brought out their linebacker coaches and watched Wagner's skills. It was like he didn't even miss a beat since his sickness, running a 40-yard dash with times of 4.46 and 4.47. He also had a 39.5-inch vertical jump and an 11-foot broad jump and he bench pressed 24 reps at 225 pounds. I definitely couldn't do it. He finished with a 7.09 time in the 3-cone pro agility drill and an 11.72 time in the 60-yard shuttle
It was a big
run.
turnout. Definitely feel like there was a lot of scouts here. I felt like I did pretty well in the drills as well as the testing, so I feel pretty good about today.
Bobby is currently being considered as a first-round pick from the Seattle Seahawks and a second-round pick from teams like Tampa Bay and the New York Giants. Wagner definitely has some serious talent, and as Aggie fans, we want to see him hit the big time. Both Wagner and Robert Turbin are entering the NFL draft this spring, and we want to see him hit the top. Guys, personally, I'd like to see either Turbin or Wagner go to my Seattle Seahawks. What about you?
You know, I think I'd rather have him go to, the Baltimore Ravens. They were there at Pro Day, and I'm from Maryland, so I'm thinking Baltimore Ravens, really.
Why not Denver Broncos? My team. But we'll be right back with ATV News. Stay tuned. Have you ever thought of adopting a new pet? Ryan Humphreys takes you to the Cache Valley Humane Society, where they have dozens of animals waiting to be taken home.
The Cache Humane Society is home to dozens of animals that are in need of a good home. At any given time, there are usually 40 to 50 animals that are ready to be taken home. The Cache Humane Society is a refuge for animals. They provide spaying and neutering, as well as vaccinations and other veterinary-related services.
The spay neuter program was started in January of 2010, and its purpose was to provide a means for the public to alter their animals at low or no cost.
The Cache Humane Society needs volunteers to help with anything from the cleaning to the bookkeeping.
And so volunteers play a crucial role in many different areas. They help augment all the staff positions so we can provide better for the animals and do better for them.
Every year, the Humane Society does Links of Love.
And you purchase them for $1, and then on February 18th at noon you can come down here and bring any links that you may have, or you can come down at noon and purchase any more links that we need to, and then at 1 o'clock we will do our big wraparound and see if we can make it all the way around our building.
The adoption price for a dog starts at $100, with a $60 price to spay or $50 to neuter. The cost to adopt a cat isn't quite as much.
As far as the cats go, it's $40, usually for an adoption fee, and then it's $45 to spay and $35 to neuter.
The Cache Humane Society is in need of your help. Buy a link of love today and stop by to meet a new lifelong friend.
If you would like to volunteer at the Cache Humane Society, you can contact them by phone or online. I don't know about you guys, but I love animals. Just soft.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted a little puppy or a dog or something. I might actually go check that out.
No, whenever I see animals at the Humane Society, I just want to take them home with me.
I just love puppies. Don't like cats though. Not a huge cat fan.
Not a cat person?
No.
All right, well, from all of us here at AT News, I'm Britta Anderson.
I'm Jessica Black.
And I'm Bailey McMurdy. See you next time, Aggies.